we have what could be a highly impactful winter storm on the way for millions of people across the US in just a few days, guys. Hello, my name is Charlie Lenz, and we have a lot to go over today. This is the second video I've put out today because things are changing, although not very rapidly. So we're gonna go over the latest and greatest model guidance from the Euro and all of the models associated with it, and then we're going to go over the GFS and all its associated models, as well as ensembles, and um, who knows what else I have queued up in the tabs for you today. But regardless, hope you guys have had a great day today. I sure have, and I hope that you continue to as you get into your afternoon and into the evening. So like this video if you enjoy it, please subscribe if you haven't already, but most importantly, leave a comment down below where you're watching from. The last video I actually was kind of shocked at how far away some of you guys are from me. If you didn't know, I'm in the upstate of South Carolina, right where I just put this flag where it's pointing here, and there was at least one person in Albuquerque, New Mexico, so welcome to the channel. Thanks for watching. We have people in the Northeast, we have people in Texas and Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure Indiana was one at some point. So thank you guys for tuning in, but please comment where you're watching from and what you'd like to see and any other details that you'd like to let me know. I'd love to read those. So with that, we're going to get right into it here. So we're going to start this off, per usual, looking at the European model, just the normal European and the South Central US. This is the 12Z run. As far as I know, this is the latest. It is the latest that we have, at least on this site. Pivotal Weather does the same thing as this site when it comes to models. They don't have the latest runs out all the time. Tropical Tidbits is another one. They might have it, but we're just going to look at this. The information is not changing very quickly. But we start this off. Notice the first time I had you look at here was 7 a.m., 6 a.m. on this coming Friday. I mean, that's a few days out, guys. Hour 72. We see some wintry mix starting to break out in areas of Oklahoma and Texas here, right along the Red River. And it kind of drops down a little bit, and you're wondering, where is all of our stuff? It's right here. Don't think for one second that the Euro has trended away from anything, because it has not. We have snow breaking out here, a wintry mix further to the south. Oklahoma City is generally on the line, but you're just a little bit north of it on this run. Some snow back into central New Mexico here. I just forgot, and I'm going to do this on the fly because it's very helpful. I'm going to turn on cities. This can help you guys. This is going to help me. And then we're going to switch this back to here. Move Epic Pin out of the way. Now, so we have some cities here. There's Albuquerque, Roswell. It's snowing, pretty heavy. And then we have the Red River is generally where our axis of freezing rain is at this time. This is 8 p.m. Sorry, 6 or 7 p.m. Friday, this coming Friday. So snow in Kansas, Oklahoma, is more sporadic though. Really begins to amplify. Nothing in comparison to what this frame is right here. This is 6 a.m. Central Time on Saturday, this coming Saturday. And we have a widespread area of heavy, mostly wet snow here, all the way from southern areas of Nebraska, most of Kansas getting some snow here, almost all of Oklahoma except for the southern areas, northern Arkansas, and western, especially southwestern areas of Arkansas as well. So that's our snow, and then our freezing rain. That's on this site. Freezing rain shows up in the pink color you see, is stretching down. We'll do a little bit of drawing here. It's stretching down all the way into western Texas, all the way to the border and even past it. The New Mexico and Texas border, I should say, down to San Angelo is not on this map. It's in here somewhere. Near San Antonio, it's close. It's mostly rain. Colleen, Crockett, Shreveport, Louisiana, Monroe, Louisiana, Jackson, Mississippi, all on the line here. And then everywhere in between. Dallas, wintry mix. Abilene, wintry mix. Over to Little Rock, Arkansas is right on the line. Literally right on the line here. So that's our freezing rain. But again, and I've said this in last videos, it's so hard to discuss all these areas because if I were to zoom into this map, more cities would come up. I could get more detailed. And I could genuinely talk about areas this covers to make this video 3 hours long, and I don't want that for you guys. Videos like that don't tend to do well anyway. It's not helpful. So this is the best I can do when it comes to showing you cities. If you can't name where you are on a map, if you're given one, I would highly recommend that you just pull up Google Maps or Apple Maps, whatever you've got. We all know Google Maps is better anyways, but it's going to show you your current location. Just zoom out a little bit and get a general idea of what big cities are around you. That's very helpful. But we move this on in time here, and we have just a massive snowstorm, an ice storm across areas of the central U.S. in general, not just the central plains or just the lower Midwest, just the central areas of the U.S. here, all the way. Most of Missouri is snow. A lot of Kansas is snow. Most of Oklahoma is snow, except for the western areas. All the way over in my neck of the woods, up here in upstate South Carolina, as well as the entire state of Tennessee receiving snow. Southern half of Kentucky receiving snow. Illinois, southern half receiving snow. But again, Little Rock, Arkansas is right on the line here. So is Memphis. So this is the kind of thing where, based on this model run, which is not the final say, this is not the forecast, you could be in the city of Memphis on the northern side getting heavy snow, just absurdly heavy snow. It's accumulating fast because it's cold temperatures. And then you drive down to the southern areas of Memphis and it's just a freezing rain, just terrible. That's what kind of line this is. Same in Little Rock. Wichita Falls, Texas, for example, is right on the line. And then areas like Lubbock, Odessa, and Abilene, Texas are just south of it. Dallas is in the freezing rain here. College Station, Texas is not on this map, but you're close to the line here between rain and freezing rain. And then, again, northern areas of Louisiana and southern areas of Arkansas are getting heavy freezing rain. Northern half of Mississippi, freezing rain. Northern third of Alabama, freezing rain, especially north of Birmingham. And then areas of Atlanta, Georgia, with freezing rain. Again, we can talk about this forever. And so we'll move this a few more frames and then move it off to the east a little bit. So this freezing rain just amplifies itself. I mean, it stretches back here further into Texas on the western side, back over the border. Still, a lot of the areas this is impacting is right about the same. And then this frame, I've not been saying time frames. All of this right here that I'm showing you is the afternoon on Saturday. So this really, we'll go back here. It really starts late Friday afternoon, continues through all of Saturday. So this frame right here is 7 p.m. Central Time, or 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I think I just said those backwards. 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Time. And we have a lot of the same areas of freezing rain, but this is really amplifying some sort of moisture gradient here across areas of the deep south, where this freezing rain really just picks up in intensity here. If you hear a rumbling noise, that's my garage opening and closing. That's all that is. But areas of Birmingham and Atlanta, for example, are right on the line. You go just north of that, heavy freezing rain. Just south of that, just heavy rain. And all the way over into, I'm going to move Epic Pen out of the way so you can see, all the way over here into the Carolinas, although really just South Carolina on this, down to near Augusta, Georgia, it's freezing rain. So with that, we're going to move this a little bit further to the east here. So we need to just select our southeast sector here, and here we go. So it's the same time. This is 7 p.m. Central Time on Saturday. By the way, the timestamp is up here, and if you haven't seen it yet, it is right here, up here in the top right corner of your screen. Epic Pen, the drawing tool I use, may sometimes be in the way. I'll try to keep it out as much as I can. Don't focus too much on this stuff right here, the 4 numbers and then UTC. That is the time at the prime meridian back over towards London. And when we're not using daylight savings time, like right now, we subtract 5 hours from that. So this would be midnight at the prime meridian. This is 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And obviously it subtracts 1 for every time zone to the west you shift. Don't worry too much about that yet. But this is 7 p.m. Saturday. And this is a terrible look. some people would love this. There are areas, people I know watching this video. I have a few people in the like central northern North Carolina region say, Raleigh, you love this, right? You may switch based on this run, but in general, a lot of heavy snow here. But let's take it back. This is 7 p.m. This would be, these are 6-hour jumps. So this would be, I can't, no, they're 3-hour jumps. Sorry. So this would be 10 p.m. And let's just do some drawing on this. I don't want to waste time here doing this, but this is important. Here's our freezing rain for the most part, a rough estimate of where it is. And it is starting to move out and lighten up at least areas further west and say Louisiana and Arkansas. It's a little bit less over here. It's not quite as heavy. The main axis of our moisture right here on this frame is right in here in this yellow circle I'm drawing here, as well as kind of a secondary little band. Don't get caught up in the details. If you live in, say, Columbus, I think that's in, I don't know what that's in. Let me use a different one. Even if you live here, let me get all this clutter off your screen. Demopolis. This would be in Alabama, I think. I think it's Columbus. I want to say that is Georgia. I may be completely wrong, and I apologize if I completely botched that. But areas like Columbus, either in Alabama or Georgia, either way, if you live in that area, or even like Charleston, South Carolina, Savannah, South Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, Beaufort, South Carolina region, don't look at this map and then say, we're not in it. It's just a little bit north, so we don't have to worry about all these impacts from the freezing rain. That is not true, and we could take this south very fast, and we could take it north very fast as well. But just overall, a lot of heavy freezing rain across areas of the Deep South, the northern Deep South especially. And then this thing, let's look here. This is getting into Sunday morning. This is 7 a.m. Sunday morning, and then we just have this. Notice how this freezing rain, I was saying, it's letting up back here. It does let up in intensity briefly, overnight maybe, and getting into Sunday morning. But this freezing rain is just continuing. This is just hours, over a day of it in some of these regions. And then we kind of have this extension. You might be wondering why that is. Because we have something called cold air damming in this region right here, the secondary circle. You might see there's like a spike of rain up here. You might be like, why is that? Well, it's because if we're being honest with ourselves and really analyzing the atmosphere here, do some drawing. See where this is the axis of rain, or wintry mix and rain. This axis really continues up like this. So for areas of the Carolinas, most of the Carolinas, Georgia, normally, if you didn't have any cold air damming setting up, it would just be rain or nothing. But since we do, and we have moisture here, cold air damming pretty much just sends cold air back from the northeast. Cool phenomena, pretty much uses the Appalachian Mountains as a wall, and between that, the Appalachian Mountains and the coast, it throws cooler air down. We have a low popping off here, and those rotate counterclockwise here, so it's throwing moisture back up. But since they're rotating like this, it's pulling air down. It's perfect cold air damming. It's called a CAD setup here. And that's why you see this boundary here. Areas that are not affected like it by this freezing rain mix here, and mainly the cold air damming, such as like Birmingham, you get warm nosed a little bit. So it's mostly just rain in those areas. I'm sorry if that made no sense, but I'll do my best to just explain that. And we move this on. Warm nose really makes itself known here. All the way, at this point, most of Alabama is actually just normal rain. And this is just after lunchtime on Sunday. Continuing to freezing rain. See how there's a low down there near like Dothan, Alabama? I mean, look at that thing. The low's right there, 10, 11. It's not like it's an intense low. But that's why this moisture sticks around so long, because there's actually like 2 or 3 low pressures associated with it. And it finally moves out. This is getting into about 1 a.m. Monday. So it lasts, you can count out the hours, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 30 to 33 hours in like the upstate South Carolina region where I live, of freezing rain. I don't want to see that. That's crippling. We don't have an ice graphic, unfortunately. I still haven't found that. I'm continuing to look, but we can just look based off of this. I don't even have to look at that ice graphic to tell you, based off this run of the Euro from this morning, areas that you see this Greenville coming up, not Greenville, North Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, this circle, right? I'm going to then play this out for you. Look in that circle, just how many straight hours of freezing rain there are. I don't have to look at a graphic to know that that would be brutally terrible, historically terrible. We have a wood burning stove in our house, and we're going to be using it because if this kind of solution unfolds here, just like it's showing, which I think we have a real shot at, I really do, guys, I really do, then what we're going to end up losing is power and internet, and among other things. I mean, who knows what the water lines will do, but the important thing, our power doesn't stand a chance. Down here in areas of the South, there's little when it comes to buried lines of most utilities because we'd have no reason to. It's harder to do that. It's much easier to string poles up and string all utilities on a pole. It really is easier to do that. That's why it's cheaper. So they do that. It takes less time. But when we had Hurricane Helene roll up through here, there were a lot of power outage issues because the lines just pulled themselves down. And with something like this, we're going to have the same thing happen, and widespread power outage reports, at least, would be expected across areas of the Deep South here, just widespread. So that's the last I have to show you with that. We're not going to look at the snow totals yet. I have another tab for those. Then we're going to dive in to the Euro AI model. So I just spent 15 minutes talking to you about the operational Euro. So I'm trying to keep these videos under an hour if I can. So let's just try to do that. This is the Euro AI getting into 6 p.m. Friday. And we have snow breaking out across Oklahoma and northern Texas, the panhandle of Texas, northern Arkansas, southern Missouri, Kansas still getting snow here, pretty amplified look, a lot of moisture, pretty dark colors. And then we have, and on this site, this purple, it's purple, it's sleet or ice, not necessarily freezing rain. Freezing rain on this specific model shows up more in this orange, but don't get too caught up in that. Look at the purple as your freezing rain and ice. That's what I want you to look at it as. So move this on in time here, getting into Saturday afternoon, right about lunchtime. This is lunchtime on Saturday, Central Time at least, and we have a band of snow from Albuquerque, New Mexico, all the way back to the Southern Appalachians, all the way up to the Kansas and Nebraska border. I mean, just so many areas covered here. I don't have cities turned on. I apologize for that. You have to manually change those settings every tab, and I have so many open. I often forget. But just we'll move this off to the east in a second. But just this snow also moves itself south, so areas like Lubbock, Odessa, down to San Angelo, Texas, would start to get snow on the backside of this. But just hours of freezing rain in a lot of these areas. Again, we kind of have a highlighted region. This highlights it well. This northern Louisiana and then southern Arkansas corridor here. I don't know of a main interstate. Maybe Interstate 20 runs through here. I don't know if that's a little south, a little north. I don't know. But really from, say, Memphis, Tennessee, down through Shreveport, and I really want to say Peoria. I might be completely wrong saying that. I want to say Peoria, though, in Louisiana, kind of down here, and then all the way over near Dallas. So that's our border. Jackson, Mississippi's in here. So we have a kind of highlighted area there. But let's continue. Let's not get too caught up in the details here. A lot of snow. Then we have some freezing rain actually being modeled here, but don't worry too much about that. We'll start here. This is 7 p.m. Saturday. So that's when this event would be starting for areas further to the east. So speaking of that, let's do that. Oh yes, I forgot. So this model, the AI models here, do not, for some reason, they don't offer the Southeast and Southwest U.S. as sectors, at least on this site. So we're going to have to zoom out, unfortunately. Same product, though. So we have, I'll move my mouse out of the way, 7 p.m. Saturday. And then we have freezing rain, snow moving into the upstate, really all of South Carolina here, getting freezing rain. North Carolina is good for a ton of freezing rain, at least for the majority of this event. Tennessee switches to all freezing rain on this. Just a tick further north in general. Not really, though. I mean, it's a slightly different solution than the Euro's been showing, but that's okay. Having some model differences is to be expected. And we have just hours freezing rain, a corridor setting up in this cold air damming back here across areas of the Carolinas, northern Georgia, and really kind of northern Alabama here, and then it lingers. I mean, this is midnight thereabouts on our early Monday, midnight 1 a.m. Monday, and there's still freezing rain falling, and then it finally moves on out. Who knows what else? I mean, there's another storm up there in the northeast, Clipper, whatever. Focus on one event at a time. So another run showing highly impactful scenario here. That's the latest from that. What about the GFS? Well, GFS is continuing. Well, I'll say it this way. I know I just said the word well like 4 times in a sentence. Either way, the GFS has been. It started yesterday. It folded to the idea of the euro, so it amplified it a little bit more. It ticked north to match the euro because it's been much further south. Well, it did it again. This is the 18. Supposed to be the 18Z. I think we actually have enough of it now. Perfect. So we didn't earlier. This is new to me. So we have. This is Friday afternoon, the 23rd of this month. Wintry mix showing up here. Much more sleet on the GFS. That shows up in this purple, not the pink, the purple color. And it does sleet a lot. Think about it as if it was pink, just ice in general. But it's much more to the south. It looks different, right? Like you might be in Kansas thinking, where's our snow at? It's not there on this run. It's consistently not. Especially today. Yesterday we had runs that were kind of showing it, but not as much today. And we have heavy snow beginning to move. I'm not even looking at areas further east. I mean, the GFS is so broken up. I keep going back and forth because it's hard to really go over this. This is 6 p.m. Friday. We have snow in, let's see. Let's just move from west to east. All the way over into New Mexico, northern areas of Texas, a lot of I was going to say Kentucky, Oklahoma, a lot of Oklahoma, and then this appears, northern Arkansas with some heavy snow. Kind of amplifies a little bit, so a lot of the same areas I just mentioned start to expand here as the snow really begins to expand further to the east as we move on in time. So Memphis, heavy snow, Nashville, Tennessee, starting to get some snow, maybe not be as heavy. And then a lot of freezing rain, a lot of mixing going on down here to the south. I could name regions till I'm blue in the face. Just the entire central third of Texas. And that's a lot of landmass, guys. If you didn't already know, Texas is huge. It's one of the only states, it might be the only state, you can drive on an interstate about 10 hours and still be in the same state. Which is impressive, isn't it? They say everything's bigger in Texas and snow, and so is the snow and everything else. I mean, this is hours of freezing rain, a lot of sleet down here in the central third. Dallas, Lubbock, Midland area, down to San Antonio, close to San Antonio, San Angelo, and then like areas of near Houston, Galveston, College Station, getting some. And I haven't even moved this further to the east yet, so let's do that. Move this when it starts, right about here. I love this site because it saves your times. Pivotal weather does not do that. I can't stand it. So let's see. This is 10 p.m. on Friday. Yes, 10 p.m. Friday is when we were looking at this. This is 10 p.m. Friday right here. Snow beginning to make its way into the southern Appalachian Mountains. This is what the frame we were just looking at, so I'm not going to name areas again. And let's move this out to 12Z. So this is 7 a.m. Saturday, and this event is ongoing here. We have snow across mainly the eastern areas, Nashville points east, in Tennessee, a lot of North Carolina, especially the northern areas, all of the mountains. The higher elevations are good for snow here. I really think so. That's kind of a lock at this point, unless this system completely goes away, which I don't see happening. And we have freezing rain. Think about the purple as if it were pink. So really freezing rain in a mix down here again in the southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana corridor here through Jackson, Mississippi, all the way up through near Birmingham, Alabama. And we see some rain here, but it kind of gets pushed out of the way and replaced. And you just have this weird look here. This is 1 a.m. Sunday, and we have freezing rain in almost all of South Carolina, the southern half ish. So Raleigh generally is in the snow here, but you switch later. But Raleigh here, right on the line. Greenville, North Carolina, is south of the line, so you're in more of a mix. Greensboro is kind of on a line here, and just in the Carolina, South Carolina especially, just so many hours of freezing rain. Heavy snow to the north. Tennessee starting to switch back to snow here for many more hours, and then we have another like push of moisture here. This is right here. This frame right here is 1 a.m. Monday. We have some snow back in my neck of the woods finally, and we have freezing rain across the entire rest of South Carolina except for the northern few counties, and it goes all the way back down into Louisiana as well as over near the Outer Banks, and then moves on out. Again, with the snow graphic, I have that pulled up in another location. So I'm going to go over this really quick because I don't know a whole lot about this. I don't really necessarily trust it, but it's very similar, guys. It's maybe a little bit quicker, although these are only 6-hour increments here. So it appears to move faster. This is 1 a.m. Actually, this would be midnight. This is midnight Saturday. Midnight Saturday, getting into the early morning hours. And we have snow in Oklahoma, Central Plains in general. And then freezing rain to the south. It looks very similar to everything else we've looked at. I'm not even going to move this east because we can't. There's not an option for that. And we have who knows what's going on afterwards. We'll cover those when we get there. A lot of the same off of the GFS AI. And really, the AI guidance, if you look at a frame like this, for example, a few days ago, we really were seeing this Sunday afternoon, for example. We were really looking at this, and the AI guidance was more amped up. They were a little bit warmer, so our snow and the freezing rain line was much further north. There's a lot more rain involved. But also note, I mean, Kansas gets some snow here, but it's really not nearly as much snow and just general precipitation farther north as, say, the GFS. Well, the GFS maybe, but the Euro and the Euro AI mainly. But the rain, sleet, and snow lines are very similar on all four models I just showed you. So that's all we're going to look at for that. And then we're going to look at the Euro Ensemble, just the operational ensemble, not the AI ensemble or anything like that. This does show precipitation type, and this is 3-hour increments. But the only thing you suffer from is just the pixelated look here, but it's the best we can do. This is getting into the early morning hours, 6 a.m. Central Time here. And we get snow breaking out right about lunchtime. And then we have this frame. This is 6 a.m. Saturday. So it takes about 24 hours to fully amplify. 6 a.m. Saturday, and across everywhere north of the Red River, really, and latitude, sorry. Everywhere north of the Red River and latitude is getting snow all the way up to nearly Omaha, Nebraska. It's not even on this map. I can just kind of tell it's up that way. And this is dominant precipitation type. This is not exactly the same product, but it looks the same, and it's the same general idea here. With the darker blues and the darker purples are the heavier values. But we move this off to the east, and it does a whole lot of the same, guys, except it's more aggressive with the cold air behind this system. So it pushes some snow down into Arkansas. Again, after the main thing goes through, there's some snow to finish off, as well as freezing rain in areas. This is not the best thing to look at because it's not designed for this. The way that these colors are created here that you're seeing are through other algorithms. They're not just the model. The model does not output this. The model just outputs precipitation and rates here. So this is kind of iffy. The other AI guidance is like this too. This is not AI guidance, but the AI guidance is similar. Either way, get the idea. And where it's really the southern border of Tennessee is the line for the most part of heavy snow areas. I mean, Tennessee, Kentucky, heavy snow. I don't know. I'm gonna check just for what it's worth. Move this back here, and I'm gonna check and see if we have the we do have the southeast. Go over this real quick. Heavy snow, a lot of freezing rain in the Carolinas, and down to Atlanta, the I-85 corridor, Atlanta to Charlotte, and then through the Greenville-Spartanburg area, a lot of freezing rain. Columbia, freezing rain, down through the low country, freezing rain, coastal areas, freezing rain. Let's move this if we can. We don't have the best sector here, but we'll click on it. These are our areas further north. So this is, let's see. This would be, I can't think. I can never remember Virginia. There, Virginia. Virginia, southern border of Virginia points north with snow here. West Virginia gets a lot of snow from this. The Tidewater regions, DC, Washington, D.C., all of Maryland. I saw a comment yesterday about a specific county in Maryland. I haven't had time today to look up that county. I think it was Baltimore County. But based on this run, you wouldn't even have to worry. The entire state's just covered in heavy snow. Not a forecast. It's reliable. It's not a forecast. And snow for the Northeast. That's not anything too major to speak of. So this is the Euro AI Ensemble. It offers no more zoom levels here. So we're just going to look at it briefly. On this model, obviously, our mix is a different color. It's kind of this brown tan color, but the line is the same. The Red River and then the southern border of Tennessee is mainly the line here. And this is the latest. This is the 18Z run, all that it's going to do. So I'm going to just briefly switch us back. There's no changes, guys, in the last run. Really at all. And a lot of freezing rain, hours of it, moves on out. And then we have a lot more of an active pattern afterwards. So you can see it run through. Looks like that. There we go. And then last thing we're going to look at here, go ahead and close that. So it's just a little bit, I can't click on it. There it's a little bit bigger here. So this is the blend of all models, National Blend of Models. That's what NBM stands for. And this is an ensemble. I don't believe it offers, oh wow, it does. I didn't see this. It offers really, oh wow, I did not see this. Okay, we'll get into this. This is a great model to look at with a lot of great areas here. But we're not going to look at that too much. We'll start this off. It's hard. Let's just pick it in South Central and start this off. This is the blend of all models. This is a pretty reliable thing to look at, guys. And rain, snow, and sleet lines are in pretty similar location. Mainly the snow and freezing rain or sleet line is in the almost exact same location on all models here. With the amplification look here, like the amount of moisture, see how like Kansas gets a good amount here. I buy that scenario. Up through southern Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, I buy that for the freezing rain not hitting you, and instead you get heavy snow. And right here is maybe not, this is more the good frame to look at. This is the blend of all models, like I said probably 45 times now. Highlighted region, kind of a break, and then it's off screen, highlighted region. Two main regions here we're really watching, and areas in the middle could definitely do plenty with freezing rain. So I don't know what we have next. Oh yeah, before I get into these snow totals, I'm going to speak to you very briefly about freezing rain. I've said this in the last few videos. Just if I've talked about freezing rain in the last few videos, skip ahead maybe 30 seconds to a minute, and I'll be done talking about it. Freezing rain falls and looks like normal rain. You can look outside and you see drops falling. They're not solid ice and crystals like that, but it's an interesting phenomenon where they fall through mid-levels of the atmosphere, let's say 2 to 4 miles or so, that are warmer, maybe above freezing even, and then they drop through a layer about a mile above the surface that's way cooler. So it super cools them but doesn't freeze them because they're moving, all that good stuff, a lot of science backed up, all in there. But then they hit the surface, and a lot of these areas that freezing rain will be falling, it will be cold. For example, the northern Georgia, all of South Carolina, mainly the northern half, though, like Columbia points north, and then a lot of North Carolina. This freezing rain that we're talking about will be falling in temperatures that could be below 20 degrees, like 19. 19 to 22 seems to be the range here. I might pull up a temperature map for that later, but either way, just really weird phenomena. So it's 20 degrees and yet there's liquid falling. Anyway, for those of you who skipped ahead to get rid of me talking about this, I'm still not done yet. So the reason freezing rain is so bad is because when freezing rain hits these cold objects at the surface, any object, power lines, tree branches, the road, they pretty much freeze on impact. You could probably use a slow-mo camera and watch them as they kind of hit. They just kind of crystallize and form around things because it's so cold. So they stick very fast. They accumulate very fast. These freezing rains do. So if you have a power line that is half an inch to an inch in diameter, right, and it's strung between two poles, I heard somewhere just recently that half an inch of freezing rain, that's going to add a half an inch to both sides. So it ends up being about an inch larger in diameter than it was before, adds about 500 pounds of weight between two poles. So that's half an inch. Very low looking values here. So generally, a quarter of an inch, 0.25 inches or more is considered dangerous. Half an inch or more is considered very impactful, and then like 3/4 of an inch or more is just getting into catastrophic territory. Widespread outages, roads are a terrible mess, tree damage, among other things. I'm done yapping about that. Let's look at some snowfall maps. This is what everyone wants to see. 12Z Euro. This is from the run that I showed you of the Euro. They're the same model run here, and just insanity with some of these totals. So we'll start over areas to the west. Oklahoma City with 10 inches here, not a forecast. Northern half of Arkansas, Conway, for example, is in a jackpot area here. Here we go with a lot of snow, 14, 15 inches. And then we move this up here a little bit. Memphis with a foot. Nashville with over a foot. Murfreesboro. Is that how you say that? Murfreesboro. Sure. With about a foot here. And then our footprint continues on into areas of southern West Virginia, the northern half of Kentucky here with like 8+ inches. And then most, if not all, of Kentucky. This is not Kentucky. I apologize. Virginia. One of these days, I'm going to get it right. I promise. A lot of snow here. A lot of snow. And then northern half of North Carolina with a lot of snow. Drops off quickly to the south. Very quickly to the south. Some snow mixes in here. Areas further to the south. This would be a back-end snow thing. Not snow mixed in with everything else. This would be like the event passes, and then you have some sort of front diving down with cold air behind it, and there's some lingering precipitation, and the temperature profiles throughout the atmosphere are supportive of snow, so you get some snow. Don't focus too much on these totals down here yet. Could overperform, who knows? It's too early to say whether that would be likely. So that's the Euro. Again, not a forecast by any means. Even measurable snow down here in all of the northern half of Texas, up into Kansas, a lot of Missouri, mainly, for example, Jefferson City, Missouri, points south for measurable snow and moves off. So that's all we have for that. What about the Euro AI? Very, very similar look. I mean, it almost is like the same, especially when it comes to our cutoff line here, but a lot of the same totals. I'm not even going to zoom in as close. I'm not going to say everything, just look at some of these totals here. There are numbers here. So if you haven't seen those, there are numbers. So just in general, like I said earlier, if you don't know where you are on a map, open Google Maps right now on your phone, and there'll be a little blue circle that highlights where you are on a map. It should even auto-center itself. And then just zoom out. Don't move the map. Just zoom out and see where you are. Just generally. Note some more major cities around you, and it will help you a lot. But very similar look off the Euro AI. So I don't know what just happened with that scrolling, but either way. Now let's look at the GFS. GFS is just a mess when it comes to being organized here. Your eyes are going to be immediately drawn to here, and they should be. That does indeed, just south of Knoxville, and say 27 inches of snow. That does indeed say it. That's not your eyes messing with you. Let's see here. Raleigh, Durham, 2 feet ish. Now Greenville, North Carolina, Goldsboro are closer to the line. You're still in it. Fayetteville is just south of it, so you're still measurable snow, but not nearly as much. It's a little bit further south, like in my neck of the woods. Let's just find a general area here. It's close, but you go down here a little bit, and it starts to drop off. But you go up here, it's over a foot. Insanity. Now, the interesting thing to me is that looking at this graphic looks pretty similar to the other models here. Let's click on the Euro. It's different. It's not the same, but it kind of is. We need to actually get this back to the GFS and switch it to the latest run. It's similar. It's way more amped with the snow, which is weird, but there's nothing up here in Kansas or places like Jefferson City. You're left here. So it's a little bit further south, but still not way south. It does drop a lot more snow in areas of South Carolina, and really just North Carolina and Tennessee just get hammered with an event like this. So that's all I have for that. And then we started with this tab here. Pull this out to the end of the event. So this is the Euro Ensemble, one of the most reliable things you can look at for snow. And there's 2 main highlighted regions, one of which is where the GFS was kind of highlighting here, although it's a little bit further north on the highlighting here. The reason I didn't highlight this area is because that's mountainous. It's not exactly the same. And then get this off your screen. I don't know why that happens sometimes. It's interesting. And then we have another highlighted area, very obviously highlighted area, between Oklahoma City and Conway, Arkansas, with higher values in here. You're obviously not, this is an ensemble. You're not going to see some of these crazy 2-foot type of totals here. Or if we did, we'd be in trouble. I'll say it that way. But very impressive snow signal that has not changed an ounce over the past 24 hours. It looks almost exactly the same. In fact, just for what it's worth, in fact, wait. Monday, this says 2 days ago, but this is 12Z Monday, so I don't know why it says that. We have, if anything, increased it. Compare this. Let me get it all in frame here. Compare this run right here. I get this off. Drum roll to this. Subtle but very important changes. This first area out here over Oklahoma is highlighted. More so. Higher values. Higher values over in the eastern areas too. It is not time yet to nail down where these lines are, where it switches from rain to freezing rain and where it switches from freezing rain to snow. Just know we have insane model agreement here. Now, I'm at 43 minutes in this video, so I need to wrap this up. So this is the latest freezing rain graphic from the Canadian, since that's all I've got to look at here. And definitely some changes. We have this area here, this belt of higher values used to be up here kind of. So it trended to the south by 50 to 150 miles, depending on exactly where we are. It doesn't really matter. Trended south a good bit. And these values in here are insane. Now, an important detail when looking at a map like this is a freezing rain graphic, and you're like, well, duh, Charlie, it says that right here. But what that is kind of accounting for is any precipitation. So that it would include, some snow that falls as really, really wet snow might show up on here. Almost any liquid falling that's in cool enough temperatures is going to show up on this map. This rings out every drop. So some of these totals, subtract a quarter of these totals from them, you might get more realistic. And for example, please don't, if you live in Charlotte, for example, and you're like in here, so your values are smaller, don't live there and say, oh, we're good, we're saved, we're going to get snow instead. Don't look at that and say that necessarily. This band has moved a lot, but I don't even want you to pay attention to where this is. Just the fact that we have such an absurd signal for this freezing rain to be hugely impactful. You remember I said, a few minutes ago that, hey, a quarter inch or more is starting to be dangerous. That's 2¼ inches. Now, again, subtract some, that's actually more. But that's 2 inches more than modeled. I don't know how many percent more that is, but it's like hundreds of percent more. And we have areas of South Carolina here just destroyed, it looks like. Northern, this is kind of that time, this first area is right in here. Even though it doesn't show up as highlighted in all areas, there's been the most consistency in this region right here, and then somewhere in here for the highest totals. Even though there's totals in here, not all models do this. I think we might switch these colors, kind of. This is the Canadian as well. This isn't the best thing to look at, but it's all I got to show you. So be done with that. Take with this what you like, but this is a horrific signal. This is very dangerous looking, and you would need to prepare for this. Now, I'm going to make a video tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, and then Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon. And then the video I make after that is getting into Friday morning, and that's when this thing could be starting out areas further west. So we don't have a whole lot of more videos here to go over this. Really 2 full days for things to change for the majority of the time they're going to have to change is in 2 days. So might they change? Yes, they will change. There will be changes. And if you hear nothing else, number one, if you're here this late in the video, I appreciate it because I have been yapping 46 minutes and most people don't want to listen to someone yap that long. But if you're here at this point in the video, I want you to know one thing, and that is I just showed you probably 15 Google tabs showing you different models, different graphics here, different snow totals, ice totals, whatever. And none of it is final. I mean, none of it. What I want you to gain is that we have good consistency here between all models that something bad is going to happen. So let's back this up a little bit. These are surface temperatures. So this is Friday morning. You can see on this graphic here, I'm going to pinch to zoom, where it switches from green to blue is the freezing line. That's where it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit at the surface. So that's important for freezing rain, among other things. But again, it can be really, really cold and still be freezing rain because of the upper levels. Move this on, freezing line really begins to drop south. And we get into Sunday, which is our main day for areas further east. And it is just, the freezing line is down past Atlanta, past Columbia, past Augusta, Georgia, past Fayetteville, into the coastal areas, all the way down to, say, Orangeburg, South Carolina. And then we kind of have this, that's the cold air damming regions, a little bit of a warm nose north of Birmingham, Alabama. The exact placement is not important. The exact temperatures are not important either. But this is the Aero Ensemble. And this is just, it's very reliable. I do have, yeah, this is recent. So, very cold, more than cold enough. And I'll show it to you just because I think I should, if I can find it, rather. Where is it? Well, I might not have it. Looks like we're going to have to switch to the Euro. So the Euro is more aggressive with this cold air. Look at how much further south. That's like Savannah, Beaufort. This is very well possible we get it to be this cold. Where is our... Do we really not have... Is it here? Here. Ah, there it is. Took me long enough. So this is 700 millibars and 2 to 3 miles above your head. Right in that layer I said earlier, that's the main layer to determine precipitation types in events like this. This is the same color scale, by the way. This is the freezing line. Notice how much further north that thing is. This is in Celsius, by the way. 0 Celsius is up here. And just, yeah. It's a lot warmer down here. And this is exactly why we have such a insane ice signal this far south. So keep that in mind. There's a reason for it to be 20 degrees at the surface and freezing rain is falling. But I need to stop yapping. This video needs to get out there. I think I have one more. This is our pattern tab. Go over this very, very briefly. This is our storm system here. See some of these like warmer colors. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly. If you didn't know this already, these salmon colors, is pink and red, even purple, is above average pressures, which correlates often to above average temperatures as well. And the blues are the exact opposite, lower pressures, cooler air. This is in the mid levels, 3 or 4 miles above your head. So here we go, move this out. Even though you don't see a specific trough out over these regions, there's a storm under here. Trust me, there's a big storm under here. Move this out, and then we have a reinforcing shot of cold air. This is getting into not Thursday in 2 days from now, but Thursday after that. Trough in the east, ridge out west, higher latitude blocking. Very favorable looking pattern for more storm systems to pivot through areas, mainly in the eastern U.S. here. And we take this out to the end of the run. What do we get? This is changing as we go on here, but still a lot of ridging out west and still maybe a little bit of a trough signal. This is getting into February 4th out in no man's land. So do with that what you will. That's the end of the run. We're not going to dive any deeper into this because this video is now at 51 minutes. So I don't want to bore y'all to death. Most of y'all won't be here anyway. So I'll go ahead and put this on a loop and go ahead and just get going. So there we go. Perfect. So that's all I have for you guys today. Second video of today, rather. And yeah, we have a lot to cover, and a lot can change, but quite honestly, I don't think it will. I might eat my words, and we wake up tomorrow morning, and we make tomorrow morning's video and tomorrow afternoon's video, and this thing has trended significantly to not happen. Model guidance can do that, and it has before. But we have so much agreement and so much of a pattern that backs this up that I don't think we're going to get that. I really don't. And so because of that, I'm confident in something, guys. I'm confident that we're going to get a lot of snow for a lot of people, and we're going to get a lot of freezing rain for a lot of people. And I honestly think that this will be crippling for multiple areas that are kind of yet to be determined. I think to make some sort of a basic forecast right now, this is not final. Southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, over to the northern half of Mississippi could get a lot. Alabama kind of gets warm nosed, so I don't really know about you guys. And then we have northern Georgia, kind of Atlanta down to Augusta. And then all of South Carolina, especially the northern areas, but really all of it. And then a lot, especially the southern half or so of North Carolina, look primed to just get a lot of freezing rain. They would be historic, it would be crippling, it'd be dangerous. Power outages, among other issues, road issues, tree damage, all that stuff's yet to be figured out. So we'll get into that when we need to. And I'll tell you, and I'll be honest with you when it's time to panic in some of these areas. But not yet. Not quite yet. So that's all I have for you. Please like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. And share this video with your friends, your family. We need to get this information out there, guys. You've probably heard it. It's been all over social media already. It's been on the TV. It's been on the radio. It's been everywhere. But share this. It can put some graphics to these words that people are saying. And yeah, with that, I will be making a video tomorrow morning. Tune into that. And thank you guys for the success of these videos, by the way. They've been doing well, so I appreciate that. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.